Hey guys, how's it going? Master Cal here, and today I'm going to be doing the 18th video of my 2021 NFL offseason preview series, the Miami Dolphins. So, what a turnaround the Dolphins have had as they went from outright tanking in 2019 to just missing out on a playoff spot. They were a 10-win team last year under the coaching of Brian Flores and the play on both sides of the ball, but it wasn't quite enough to get in despite the expanded playoffs. Despite the fact that the Dolphins had 5 wins in 2019, they were able to land Tua Tagovailoa, but Tagovailoa's debut was, compared to Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow, not ideal, and he admitted as much, as he was sometimes replaced by Ryan Fitzpatrick, who would give the offense a spark at times. And there's been rumors the Dolphins could move on from Tagovailoa in favor of a rookie quarterback, or maybe swinging together a trade package for Deshaun Watson. Now, their GM has said that they're not going to take a quarterback with the number 3 overall pick, which they have from the Houston Texans. So, yeah. So their starters by cap space, obviously we mentioned Tua at quarterback. It sounds like Fitzpatrick probably won't be back in Miami, and that he'll probably leave to take a starting job elsewhere if that's possible. So we will see about that. And obviously it's a big decision for Miami. They do have 2 first-round picks, obviously, and 2 seconds, thanks to that trade they made with Houston before the 2019 season, if they wanted to see if they can make an offer for Watson. So we'll see. At running back, they have Myles Gaskin, a 7th-rounder in 2019. Gaskin has been decent for them, not great, but he's had some pretty nice runs for them. Left tackle was Austin Jackson, another first-round pick in 2019. I think he was 18th overall. And Jackson was considered a pretty raw guy when he was selected, and that definitely showed, so we'll see if he can continue to develop. Left guard is Eric Flowers, a former top 10 pick by the Giants who washed out as a left tackle but has reestablished himself as a guard in the league the past 2 seasons with Washington and Miami. At center, we have Michael Dieter, a 3rd-round pick in 2019 out of Wisconsin. Dieter started a lot at guard as a rookie, but barely played last year as he was the backup center. At right guard is Robert Hunt, 2nd-round pick in 2020, who was drafted to be either guard or tackle, so we'll see what position he winds up going at. And then at right tackle is Jesse Davis, a guy who bounced around the league early in his career but seems to have found an established home in Miami. Wide receiver, Devonte Parker, a first-rounder in 2015, a guy who was underwhelming his first 4 seasons, couldn't stay healthy. Had a breakout year in 2019, which got him an extension from Miami, and he had a solid year last season. Behind him, you got Albert Wilson and Jakeem Grant. Wilson, former Chief, he's had some good games throughout his career, but he hasn't been consistent. And Wilson did not play last year because he opted out. And then Grant, 2nd-rounder by the Dolphins in 6th-rounder, not 2nd-rounder, 6th-rounder in 2016. And he's been mostly a special teams guy, but he does contribute on offense a bit because of his speed. And then tight end, Durham Smythe has the largest cap hit of the 3 tight ends they have, which are all kind of close to each other between him, Adam Shaheen, and Mike Gesicki. Smythe is kind of more of their blocking guy, 4th-rounder in 2018 out of Notre Dame. On the defensive side, you got Shaq Lawson, a former first-round pick of the division rival Bills, who signed a 3-year deal with the Dolphins this past offseason as a free agent. Lawson had a decent year and saw the highest playing percentage of his career. At defensive tackle, you got Christian Wilkins, first-rounder in 2019 out of Clemson, who's been pretty decent. And then Zach Seiler, former 7th-round pick of the Ravens, who had a pretty good season for Miami last year, and he also signed a midseason extension. Outside linebacker, you got Kyle Van Noy, former 2nd-round pick of the Detroit Lions. Barely played for them, however, and after he was traded to the Patriots a couple years later, that's where his game took to the next level. He became a key weapon on the defensive side for Bill Belichick because of his pass rushing ability and also his being able to drop back into coverage. And he signed a 4-year deal to play for Flores and the Dolphins this past offseason. Now, this came out just yesterday. Miami is going to be moving on from him in one way or another. They've already informed him that he will be either traded or released. I don't really see any team that's going to trade for him, so I think a release is more likely. It'll save the Dolphins about $9.5 million-ish of cap space, because his 2021 salary isn't guaranteed until the third day of the new league year, so they are able to release him then. All right, inside linebacker, Jerome Baker, third rounder in 2018 out of Ohio State, who's been pretty solid for them. He's the only middle linebacker they have under contract at the moment. Their other outside linebacker is Emanuel Agba, second rounder in 2016 by the Cleveland Browns. He was traded to the Chiefs in 2019, where he had a pretty solid season, but his season ended early with an injury. Signed a 2-year deal with the Dolphins, and he was outstanding for them, had a great season. And he's a guy that I think Miami will try to extend in this summer. The secondary, you got Byron Jones, former first-round pick of the Dallas Cowboys, a guy who is good in coverage, doesn't get a lot of turnovers, but he's outstanding in coverage. Next to him is Xavien Howard. I think Howard was either Defensive Player of the Year, he was Defensive Player of the Year runner-up, as he had an insane 10 interceptions. And as a result, Howard has requested a pay raise, so we will see what Miami does with that. In the slot is Noah Igbineghini, who was the Dolphins' third first-rounder in 2020. He didn't play a whole lot on defense, though, as a rookie, and he was also considered a raw converted wide receiver when he was selected out of Auburn, who had a good season there when he did switch to corner. And then safety, you got Bobby McCain, fifth rounder in 2015, who's been pretty decent, a guy who came up as a corner but switched to safety. And then Eric Rowe, who's another former corner converted to safety. Rowe is another former Patriot as well. Long snapper is Blake Ferguson. The Dolphins drafted him in 2020. They don't have a punter under contract for the moment, and then their kicker is Jason Sanders, who I think he was a 6th-round pick in 2016. Sanders had an outstanding season last year and was good again in 2019 as well, and Miami has signed him to an extension that will keep him under team control for the next 6 seasons. So Miami's free agents, you got Fitzpatrick, as we mentioned before. It's not out of the possibility that he'll be back, but it's not likely. Matt Breida, who the Dolphins acquired in a trade with the 49ers on draft day. Breida wasn't really much of a factor for Miami, though. Starting center Ted Karras, linebacker Cam Grugier-Hill, linebacker Vince Beagle, who I believe missed all of last season due to injury, punter Matt Hawk, linebacker Elandon Roberts, safety Kayvon Frazier, running back DeAndre Washington, wide receiver Matt Collins, wide receiver Isaiah Ford, who they actually traded to New England, and then New England cut him, and then he found his way back to Miami. Quarterback Jake Rudock is an exclusive rights free agent. Offensive tackle Julian Davenport. Guard Adam Pankey is a restricted free agent. Defensive tackle Davon Godchaux, who missed time due to injury, but the Dolphins evidently want to bring him back if the price is right. Linebacker Calvin Munson is an exclusive rights free agent. Their nickelback Nick Needham is an exclusive rights free agent, and cornerback Jamal Wiltz is an exclusive rights free agent. So Miami currently has $22.11 million in cap space. That number will go up to close to $32 million when the trade or release of Van Noy becomes official. So needs for the Dolphins, I get the sense that the Dolphins would be fine with Tua as their starting quarterback, and they'd be fine with Myles Gaskin as their starting running back, but if they can find legitimate upgrades, they might go that route. The Dolphins tried to upgrade the running back room last year because their running game in 2019 was abysmal, and they went for Jordan Howard, but that didn't work out at all. The Dolphins want to bring back Karras at center. If they aren't able to, there are a bunch of available starting centers in free agency, so there's that. And I think they will let their offensive line continue to develop and gel. I'd say adding another receiver is probably a big need. Preston Williams has been solid, but he's also injury prone. And the Dolphins badly need another playmaker besides Devonte Parker. They're going to need reinforcements at linebacker, especially since they don't have anybody next to Baker. And then obviously with Van Noy being released, that means Andrew Van Ginkel is the starter. And then, So again, they did an outstanding job of rebuilding the team, and Brian Flores' coaching did a good job where they don't have a whole lot of needs. Like, their only needs at the moment I can think of are really wide receiver and linebacker. And they have the cap space to make some big moves at those positions to make them try to catch up to the Bills. So their potential cap casualties. Flowers' contract is not cuttable, but I don't believe they'd cut him. They'll probably cut Albert Wilson, I imagine. They could cut Jakeem Grant. I don't think they will, though. They also could cut wide receiver Allen Hurns, who also opted out of last season. I don't believe they'll cut Hurns now. I could see Hurns being a training camp cut, though. Obviously they're trying to trade Van Noy, but if they can't, they'll cut him. I've seen Miami might want to get maybe younger at safety, so they could end up releasing both McCain and Rowe if they wanted to, but that would obviously make safety a big need. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for the next offseason preview video.